Well, hello there. Oh my gosh, we're back again. Hi, guys, it's Lena Lavish. I am here today on a beautifully sunny fall day, and I am extremely happy to be with you all again. I miss every single one of you. And if you're new here, if this is your first video you've ever seen done by yours truly, welcome. Come on into the room. This one is going to be a bit heavier, guys. The subject matter, of course, as you can tell by the thumbnail, is not one that I have been looking forward to sharing, but it's necessary for a whole host of reasons. Not just because of sickle cell awareness, but also because of my own healing journey, as well as pointing out some of the flaws, right, in our society and how we live and treat one another. And I just figured, let me go ahead and just do it and bite the bullet and stop procrastinating, you guys. I used to be such a huge procrastinator, and what I found is there's a reason behind that, and no more, no more, at least not today. Not today. So yes, my name is Lena, you guys. Welcome. I am a 37-year-old mom. I'm a sickle cell warrior. If you follow my journey, you know that about 20 months ago, I started taking Oxbryta, a new treatment for sickle cell, and it completely just unleashed me, and I became everything pretty much that I thought I would never become. Um, I've regained so many more hopes and dreams, and I'm on my way to a bigger and brighter future. So I just want to shout those guys out and say thank you all to the great people at GBT and Pfizer now for giving me a new lease on life. I have a whole new way of moving, and so I am exercising obedience and faith and trying to help, in any little way that I can. So, as you can see, today's subject matter is on the absolute worst moment of my entire life. The moment that I will never forget, but I try not to think about. I don't know who wants to sit around and think on their worst moment, but certainly not me. But this story deserves to be told. I've, shared it with, several people over the years, in intimate spaces, where it's relevant. And, you know, this channel means a lot to me. This is my dream come true. It's one of my um, dreams come true. And I treat this place like an extension of my heart and my home, so that anyone who is watching or listening feels comfortable enough to understand that, it's fine here, everything is fine here, but the world is not a great place all the time. And when you're dealing with something as debilitating and consuming, all consuming like sickle cell is, where it touches every part of your life and every aspect, there's just some things that become glaringly clear when you need people. And, I, at this moment that this thing happened to me, I was in college, and it completely spun me around mentally, as to where I realized, oh, okay. I see. Okay, it's like that. Oh, okay. Okay. And I'm sure, you guys have had your own instances, like that. So we're going to flash back, and I'm going to try my best to give you guys this story without it being too long, as well as without me becoming too emotional over it, or through it, because that has been proven to be difficult, and it's been several years, I've been in therapy. I still take care of myself in every way that I can and know how to, but I also know that some hurts just linger, some things just linger. Um, if you're new here, please like and share and subscribe to the channel because we're friends now. I am Lena Lavish, and I am the ultimate bestie. Okay, so just come on in and listen to the story, and let me know, you guys, what you're hearing as I'm telling the story. Let me know if there's some big thing that I missed, or let me know how it made you feel to hear me tell the story. And let me know how, anything. Let me know what you guys feel like, we can do better as a community to make sure that these types of things, stop happening to sickle cell patients and other people, right? So, back in the day, I was in high school, in the early 2000s. Okay. So it really was a pretty great time. Like the music was great, this was way before COVID. There was really no, huge world changing, um, pandemic or anything like that. We still had freedom. Masks really weren't a thing. It was way before that, right? It was just, regular schmegular life, right? Where, okay, what's next? High school? Okay. College? Okay, that sounds right. But you guys, honestly, hindsight is 2020. And I know I've said this before on the channel, but I just want to reiterate for you guys. I really should not have been doing half of the things that I was doing, and I wasn't even doing a lot. I wasn't even doing a lot, but I was so ill. I was so ill, and I was hurting every day, all day, and I was on a lot of pain medicines. And, when you get to be, let's see, high school, I was probably into my second or third year, going into my third year of high school in the early 2000s. And you know how it is, like the teachers and the counselors, everyone is trying to hurry up and get you to, make a decision about what you're going to do, after high school. And during this time, it's not like it was today. Like today, content creator really wasn't a thing. Didn't know it wasn't like the options. It was very much like go to college, or go to the military, right? Like go to college or get a job or go to the military. Like you need to do something and pick one of these things and just do it. And now looking back at, young Lena, I'm thinking, how, Sway? Whew. Anyway, and so the teachers, they're all, the counselors are like, what are you going to do? All the kids are bopping around high school talking about, the plans and what they're going to do. They got their little letterings jackets on, and, they're going to parties and football games. And Lena didn't do any of that. Lena wasn't doing any of that. Lena could not do any of that. If I weren't at school, I was at home. If I wasn't at home, I was in the hospital. There was no, girls just want to have fun all, throughout high school where you're thinking about, oh, it was the greatest days ever. No, it wasn't like that for me. I hadn't even considered what I would do like immediately after high school. I just assumed that I would go away to college because you, as a kid, you don't understand what that really entails. I had no idea how much energy, how much financial backing I would need to actually be successful in a capitalistic society. And so I was completely and wholly unprepared. No one was around me to say, you need to do this, it might be in your best interest to, maybe, perhaps like there were not options laid out. Y'all know what I'm trying to say? Like people probably thought they were laying out options, but certainly not options that would fit someone with a chronic illness. Because back then, this was during the time where it was just like America was just guzzling hard, everybody's hard work and labor, guzzling all of them coins, all, just money, 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 money. I'm talking about them up there, not us down here. They're just guzzling. I mean, they're selling us houses, giving us all kind of loans we can't afford. They're giving us all kind of student loans that nowadays everybody's like, oh, this about to be canceled because this should have never happened. I am certainly one of those people. I should be at the top of the list. So, one of my teachers somehow was like, well, look at some of the programs here. We have this, we have that, take a look and see if anything sparks your interest. And so I'm the type of person that I like to do things the other way. I'm not a follower. I'm not a like, oh, let me go, do what I'm not like that at all. Like that actually makes me a bit repulsed. Like I'm not like you. I mean, it's no shade. It's just that's how I am. So I fell into the hospitality program at my high school, which was a very nice program, and I'm sure it still is to this day. I'm sure they've done a lot of improvements and whatnot, but like at the time, I had never been anywhere or done anything. And so when I was introduced to the hospitality program, where there's a little, mini restaurant and a kitchen, and you get to, experience what it's like to cook in a commercial kitchen and serve, and you get to study, and I thought to myself, I would love to do this. Like hospitality drew me because I am I'm a naturally compassionate person. And so I want to make sure that everyone around me is just as comfortable as I am, if possible. And then also I thought, well, these are skills I'll be able to use at home, like, in the future at any time. If you guys don't think about it, especially the young kids, cooking, you'll never be without a job. Ever. Everyone has to eat, and people don't like cooking. And so cooking is always something that you can do. And I did enjoy cooking because it was something that was new to me. But I think what it really was that I'm a chef at heart. I'm a chef at heart. I have a wonderful palate. My husband and I are foodies. I've talked about it before in one of my videos. We absolutely love foods and breaking down every single thing that we can taste and just looking at each other while we're eating the same thing, going, And so back then, I just thought, oh, well, that's cool. And my friends wasn't looking for no hospitality. Everybody else had their big old, 4-year university plans, and they, I'm about to do this. I'm like, y'all don't think I can be doing that. You're going to be where? Out of state? Away from your hematologist? You're going to be what? Walking on a campus? Walking? No. Living with who? Roommates? Oh, no. I mean, it was just that the lifestyle of a sickle cell patient, a sickle cell warrior, you guys, is one where everything has to be right. I cannot be missing my medicines. My temperature cannot be going up and down too much. I can't have a whole bunch of partying and ruckus going on because I need my rest. Okay. Plus, you can't have just anybody hanging out because people will straight up steal your narcotics. Yes, they will. Okay. There are so many different things that fall into the the cracks when you just don't know, right? And so people don't know, they don't think about how life for a chronically ill person is different and a lot more, difficult and unexpected, right? Than just a regular life where you don't have to worry about whether or not you're about to go into a sickle cell crisis every moment. So I joined the program just to see what it was like. And I loved it. I did end up loving it immediately because I was, off doing my own thing at this ginormous, school. I was off doing my own new thing. I had a whole new, set of books that, taught me all about food and culinary arts history and everything about, what it means to be hospitable, right? Side note, this is around the time where, if you guys know, my husband and I were high school sweethearts. We are, we were born married. We're born together. Like, like I was in kindergarten, like, where is he at? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until high school. I'm like, oh, there you go. Come on, let's go get this together. Let's do what we do. But we met and we were bonded spiritually and from the beginning, right? As 15-year-olds, which is not something that your parents do not expect that your child is going to meet somebody in high school and just stay with them for the rest of their lives. Parents don't expect that. Some parents might say that they would like that for their children, but if it happens, then we'll see, because it's not always what it's cracked up to be. And so, on a little side tangent, this is during the time where my husband and I were very much linked. Everyone, everywhere we went, people saw us together. I was wearing a gold wedding band in high school. I still have it around here somewhere. I've had many rings. I was wearing a gold, and it has an inscription in it and everything. And I was wearing that in high school. My friends were like, high school friends were like, "Are you married? Like, what is this?" And I'm like, practically, like, no, but my boyfriend goes to such and such school. And they're like, oh, right, oh, your boyfriend goes to a school across town. Stop lying, Lena. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, that didn't last long because he's practically famous around here these days. But so my thing was, this sounds great for me. Let me study this and see how I can, what skills I can learn and use. And then what if I could become a chef? Right now, at the time, I was not necessarily considering, I didn't know anything about how hard it was just to simply work a job. Like, I had little high school jobs and stuff like that, but not a lot. And never really anything too physical. I'm not a workhorse. The work that I do now, you guys, like here in my studio, is work that I can do and then go in my room and take a nap, or go outside and take a walk and come back and, refresh myself. It's not like, work, it's not like that. I don't have anyone breathing over my shoulder, those things are all very, very much too much for sickle cell patients. There are some sickle cell patients that can push themselves, but it always comes crashing down in the form of a crisis. And so, on the side note, I got into this program, and then, I was well on my way to, developing credits that I could, carry over for whichever school I was going to go to, and that excited me. I was excited, about something new for the first time in a long time, something that was just mine. And my family members were like, why did you choose that? You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody in my family didn't went off and become a chef. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just working jobs. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just working jobs, because that's what we do down here, right? We don't often get to choose our careers or choose what it is we want to do, a lot of times people fall into something, or they, do whatever is necessary to keep food in their mouths and a roof over their heads, right? Well, I was just so young and naive that I just thought, wow, this is going to be great. I'll be able to, become a chef, and so there's a person, there are two people. There's a person in my family who loves to retell this joke that was told during this time period, about how I was going to culinary art school to learn how to cook my husband breakfast. Right? A joke, right? And this joke it's just so funny, to this member, that here they come every time I see them, it's like, do you remember? And I'm like, I remember the joke. I've never laughed at it. If anyone has noticed, no one's, everyone else is laughing. I've never laughed at it. The person that told the joke, I'm sure, probably still thinks it's hilarious, right? It's actually pretty misogynistic and gross, And so that was a first taste of like, oh, people really don't know me, right? And then they don't care to, and then where's the respect? Is there any go do your thing encouragement? Like, where's that at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking for that, not jokes about a chronically ill high schooler trying to find her way in the world. And so that was a sprinkling of like, Lena, don't think people are going to be nice to you just because you're ill, because they're not. Don't think that people are not going to judge your life based on what they think a family is, or what they think a woman should do, or where they think, your hopes and dreams should lie. And so, every time I hear this joke, it triggers me, because I'm like, so anyway, off the tangent, I do wonderfully in the hospitality program, you guys, naturally. Okay. Hospitality is about taking care of someone else. Having the ability to humble yourself in a way to serve someone else, whereas they are not giving you anything in return, you know what I'm saying? Like, where, you're cooking for them, or you're cleaning for them, or you're cleaning up behind them, or you're doing all of these things, right? These are things that you have to humble yourself in order to do. And that attracted me because we need more of that in the world. And to me, that is a very noble, thing to take on. Oh gosh, I need moderators, you guys. Oh, snap. Guys, just ignore the ridiculousness in the chat. I'm new to this. I don't know how to take that out. I don't know. Okay, all right, got it. I found the block button. Okay. So I gather my credits. I do my job, my duties. I go, I learn, and I'm just drinking in the knowledge. And come around time, they're like, all right, you about to graduate. What's it gonna be? Because you got to get out of here. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna go to culinary art school. Like, I had looked it up, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, now I could probably do 18 months. I could not, there was no way that I could do a 4-year university like my husband, There was no way. Okay. And he and I are people that know that, yes, there are risks involved in certain when you're in a relationship, in a serious relationship, and you are discussing separating physically for any amount of time. And so, we were just like, well, we're gonna have to separate because I gotta go to this school and you gotta go to this school, and they are not going to be in the same state, and it's going to be for a while, but it won't be forever. We each need to get our education, and then we will come back and start our lives together. And of course, luckily that is what happened. But guys, when I tell you that I went through it. Okay, I went through it. Okay, now we both did, but I went through it. Okay, so I ended up going to a lovely culinary arts school, just one state over from my home, just a couple hours drive away, which, my mom and I decided wasn't too far, right? Because I did not have a hematologist there. I did not have any friends and family there. I did not have a car. And I think I might have had a cell phone. This was like right when it was like people were getting cell phones everywhere, So it was like I had a phone, but like that was pretty much it. Okay. So I had to do everything on my own for the first time. I had to learn and figure out how to get myself to and from school, which was not like a traditional campus where you're like, this is your building, and then 2 buildings over is your school class or whatever. It was not like that. Like, we had to hop on the highway, you know what I'm saying, real quick to get to school. And so, I had to take the shuttle. I had to figure out how to get, groceries and stuff on the weekends from the store. And guys, that's too much. It is too much. Okay. So in my mind, I'm thinking, Lena, you can do 18 months. You can do 18 months. Okay. And so, we get, we get me all moved in. I'm on my I thought to myself, okay, well, this is going to be interesting. But luckily, there were 2 other young ladies from my high school that were also in the program that we were like, oh, well, we can room together, right? Like, we all know each other. And they're like, down, let's do it. Bet, let's make it happen. So of course, in our particular, dorm, which was an apartment, our apartment was 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, where, there's 2 ladies in each room. Okay. So since there were 3 of us, we had an extra space. We had one more space. And the school was like, well, that space will be filled by us. We had no idea, no way of knowing who was going to be in that 4th slot. And so getting down there to move in for the first time, luckily I got there first, and that meant I got first pick of rooms, right? So naturally I go in, I look around, I'm like, okay, I need to get myself situated because I have special needs in here. Okay. Like, these other girls, they cool. They fine. Like, a couple of them had cars, like they were fine. Like, I legit had nothing. Okay. And nobody. Okay. No money. No, like nothing. Okay. And on top of that, my sickle cell was moving in with us. Little did they know. So I picked my spot, and then my mom and my now husband, my boyfriend, we're there, they're moving me in. We're waiting, for the other roommates to arrive, and we're all, we're wondering, like, I wonder who the 4th roommate's going to be, and just all that kind of stuff. Very exciting, and also a bit scary for me, definitely. And sad. I was very sad. I did not want to have to part away from my boo. I was like, this is not good. It's gonna be how long? Like, I wasn't enjoying that at all. I was very I was just like, let's just get this over with so we can get, go home. I was trying to get home, so that back, graduate. So, we could, move on with our lives. But I was excited for the moment at hand. And so here it comes. Here it comes. The roommate. The roommate comes. Here comes the roommate. And everything seemed okay. This state that I went in, went to this school, in Kentucky. Just I'd never lived in this state before. I'd never, been anywhere. I came from a bubble. I came from a little hospital bubble, from a sick bed bubble where it's like, okay, I can't be doing all that. Like, let me go ahead and get back in my room because I don't know what y'all up to out here. Like, that's how I grew up, was very much like that. And so when we get to when we get to the moment where the roommate pulls up, here comes this, bright, brand new car. And then with like another like truck or two, pulling up, and then out pops, the roommate that's not me or my other two roommates that I knew from high school. This is a white girl. Okay. And here she comes. And we're just like, well, she's going to be surprised when she gets in here. Like, we don't know if it's going to be a good surprise or if she's going to freak out, or we don't know anything. We don't know anything, you guys, right? And it sounds all very weird, but guys, if y'all don't understand that America is a super segregated place still, I don't know, you're not paying attention. America is still very segregated, right? In the way where it's like, we don't do the same stuff. We don't hang out with the same people. We don't have the same culture, but we live right next door to each other. It's that kind. It's that kind now. And so sure enough, I mean, I remember watching, through the stairs, through the door, watching as, they're, just happy and excited. And child, all that went away when they saw our faces, when they saw my face. All that was just, it was very much like silence and shock and big gulps. You know what I'm saying? Like, child, you could see all kind of notions run up and through their minds, and just all kinds of just weird energy, just very weird energy. And I was just like, child, ain't nobody got time for this, okay? But this is not grown up Lena. This is Lena from back in high school, when I was, still in my people pleaser phase. And I tried my best I introduced myself first. I said, luckily, like, you can room with me because the room is a bit bigger. I have a few special needs, but I don't have a lot of things. There's plenty of space for us in there. I tried my best to really make her feel comfortable. Like, honey, we're regular people. I don't know what it is that y'all think it is just because we're Black people. I don't know what it is, but like, we are regular, normal people. And I tried to convey that to her, not say it, blatantly, because it's, I wasn't that person back then. Today, I would say it. And so I, welcomed her in, and, she set up all her things, everything very proper, and, parents, very close, huddled, by her side, a lot of whispering and, just like, that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, well, this is about to be a ride. Well, you guys, here comes the hard part. I knew I felt like, okay, this is a lot, like just stress alone will send you into a sickle cell crisis. Like, just stress. I've gone into sickle cell crisis over someone startling me. Like, oh my gosh, like, what was that noise? And then, oh, and then your whole body is in, the throes of sudden agony, right? That's how easy it was for me at that time to go into crisis. And so the stress of preparing for college and, finals and all kinds of celebrations and traveling and packing and prepping, y'all, just no, just I shouldn't have been doing none of that. I mean, maybe I should, I don't know, but it was a lot. And I'm trying not to be triggered. So, they play nice, they play nice. Everyone seems nice or whatever, but about a week goes by and I'm thinking, I gotta say something about my situation. So I let all my roommates know, like, I mean, the girls that knew me from high school, they knew that I was a sick, that I was a patient, but they pretty much stayed to their own. They were in their own room, so they pretty much stayed to themselves. We all had different schedules, all kind of stuff like that. But since I was in this room with my new roommate, right, the white girl, I did not feel that it was appropriate to keep my sickle cell status to myself, being that she was going to be there seeing me, taking my medicines all the time, sleeping as much as I could in between classes, just wondering, like, why are your eyes so yellow? Like, what is going on with you, right? You want to let people know, like, you can't catch anything from me, because that's all people care about is themselves. So I set her down one day and I said, hey girl, look, so I have sickle cell and this is what it is. You cannot catch it. I was born this way. I do have special needs. And, with all of that, there is an element called a crisis that could happen at any moment, where unexpectedly I might need to go to the emergency room, because that's the only place where they can help me. And I said, at that time, out of the four of us, she was the only one of us with a car. And I could not afford to call an ambulance. I couldn't afford it financially, okay, for a whole bunch of reasons. So this is me, a patient, a sickle cell patient, thinking to myself, I don't have a car. I don't have any friends or family here. I knew where the hospital was because I had it printed out on the MapQuest. But how I'm going to get there? And against my better judgment, I didn't know any better at the time, I just said, if for any reason should I need to go, and in the circumstances are just that I'm here or it's us or whatever, would you be willing to take me? And perhaps out of obligation or, just politeness, she obliged. She agreed. She said, yeah, she was, I don't really recall. I feel like she said it, but it might have been a bit reluctantly. But at this time, I was just crossing my fingers and toes that I wouldn't go into crisis and that I wouldn't need a white girl to take me to the emergency room. But honey, pride will have you sleeping outside. Okay. Pride will have you 6 feet under if you're not careful. And so I just took a gulp and I asked her and she said yes. And so I said, okay. I said, I appreciate that. I said, because it's a real possibility. And y'all, sure enough, it wasn't just, just a few months later, it was a short period of time, you guys. Like, here we all are, 4 girls living in this, in this apartment together, all going to, the same school. Some of us were training for culinary arts. Some of us were training for pastry arts, which is 2 different things. Okay. I am a chef, not a baker. I am not trying to be measuring everything like a freaking scientist. Okay. I want to throw some seasons in there until the ancestors say that's enough. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to fry some steaks. Okay. And some eggs. All right. I want to eat it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, so there's a difference there, but we were all there together. And I dove right into school. Culinary art school, you guys, being a chef is extremely taxing on your body. Why no one thought, tell me this or say, hey, do you realize, sweetheart, what's about to happen? It's about to be 2,000 degrees in the back of that kitchen. Okay, you're going to be up lifting these heavy pots and pans with several servings of meals in them at a time. You're going to be drenched in sweat underneath your chef whites. There aren't any breaks. You don't get to call off sick. Like, this is not, this is, I mean, you do, but this is, this is the real deal, y'all. Please, I was not prepared. I did rise to the occasion, but it cost me. It cost me dearly, because as we were all doing our schooling and whatnot, that it was really beating me up on the inside. And honey, one night I was up. I usually had some insomnia. A lot of sickle cell patients deal with insomnia because of the pain and whatnot. But honey, I was up on that phone talking to my boo on the couch in the living room, around the midnight hour, and we're talking about what's going on with school and this and that. And then out of nowhere comes the absolute worst pain crisis, the beginnings that I've ever experienced before. And never, I don't even want to think about it because it's making me hot behind the ears right now. It was like, before I'm in the living room talking on the phone, and before I can realize what's happening and to turn to, get up or to go, I'm pretty sure I was already on some medicine. I was probably already taking some medicine. And before I could do anything, that pain hit my body like a wrecking ball. Shattered my freaking pelvis and hips. My hips and pelvis it felt like they were hot lava on the inside. And it's the middle of the night. And I've already said, I'm not calling no ambulance because I cannot afford that. Y'all don't understand. There is when you grow having nothing. So I'm on the phone. I'm pretty sure, that, boo was like, you need to call an ambulance, but child, I was off on my own thing. I had to crawl and pull myself by my hands down the hall to my room. I could not walk. It was too, I was starting to scream uncontrollably. I was starting to moan and vocalize, because when the waves are coming, I mean, just imagine, an outside injury happening, and the pain of that, but there is no outside injury with sickle cell. It's all happening from within. You're getting beat up from the inside. Child, I had to claw my way down the hall on the floor in the darkness to get to the room and open the door. And I tried as politely and as calmly as I could to awake my roommate. And when she was awake, I was trying very hard, not to scare her, not to not to jar her, out of her sleep, not to make it, and I woke her up and I'm like, I gotta go right now. Can you please take me right now to the emergency room? And of course, she's like, okay, she's getting her boots on, she's got her boots on, and, we got pajamas or whatever, but we're like, let's just, and child, I don't know how I thought I was going to get down the flights of stairs to get to the car. Right. And this is the moment in my mind where looking back, it's like, girl, you should have called an ambulance. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Right. But in the moment, it just, and so we got together. She got up, started getting her things together. I was getting my things together. I didn't care about having any, like my hospital bag or whatever, because the pain was so bad. All I was focused on was, I don't want to die. I really don't want to die right here. Like, I don't want, when you're having a sickle cell pain crisis, everyone is like, this could be the one. And in my mind, I kept thinking, oh, this is a big one. And this one might be the one, like, for real, because the pain had never, ever been that severe before. So we get out of the front door, and now we've got to go down the stairs, you guys. And I told y'all I was crawling, right? Somehow I've gotten myself up on my feet. I don't even know, just the grace of God. But every stair, I'm holding on to the wall and the railing, and every single stair elicited a scream from me. It was so painful. And I could tell that she was scared, right? I could tell she was scared. Like, she'd never seen nothing like this. Like, first of all, this is her first encounter with Black folks. And then for one of them to be sickly, child, there's nothing worse to a racist person. I'm not calling her racist, but there's nothing worse to a racist person than to come across a sick, ill, needy Black person. They hate that. They don't like us no way. And now you're sick and I gotta do something and you're making me uncomfortable? Oh no. But she didn't say any of that. She didn't do any of that. She just helped me to the car. I got the MapQuest pages. I'm like, this where the hospital at? She got me to the hospital. Every bump, every little jiggle of the car elicited a real guttural scream from me. And every time, through all the tears in my eyes, I was just looking over at her in the driver's seat going, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was apologizing because I realized that I was traumatizing her. I realized I was traumatizing her. And that was not my intention. And so then when we get there, you guys, and like I said, she was pretty quiet the whole time. And when we got there, she helped me get into a wheelchair. It was the middle of the night. I don't know if there was a nurse there or not to help me get into the wheelchair. It could have been. I can't really remember, But I do remember when I was wheeled in there, and you got to check in, and the look on the nurse, the nurse that was sitting there, then the look on her face when my roommate wheeled me in. She saw her and she saw me and she looked at me, and the look on her face was very much like, and I was literally dying. I thought I was dying. I thought I was dying. I was in so much pain. I couldn't speak. I was doing my best to hold. At this point, I'm holding in the screams. I'm literally holding them in. I was trying to not vocalize at all. And we roll up, and the nurse is like, name. She's purposely moving super slow. She woke up that day and decided, I'm going to showcase my lack of empathy to everyone today. I'm going to showcase just how gross of a person I can be today. You're a nurse in a hospital emergency triage. When I tell you that I was purposely made to suffer, made to stay in this state of unbelievable agony simply because of this, I'm not lying. That's not a lie. That happened. And it's not the only time. And that was just a little bit. That's not even way worse things that have happened to so many of us sickle cell warriors. This lady purposely, she wanted me to know that if it was up to her, I could just die. If she had it, if she wanted me to know that here's our helpless N word, she gonna wait. Because who cares? Mm, ugh. Ugh. And I could feel my roommate energy a little bit like, shouldn't you be? This is kind of serious. Like, here she is, done spirited me to the place where I need to be. And she's done the things. And now she's looking, and it's like, so what? And y'all, it was empty. Don't think I'm up in here trying to tell y'all some fairy tale, because I am not. That emergency room was empty. It was the middle of the night. There was nothing going on. You guys, the pain is indescribable, and I really wish I did not have to even think about it anymore. But it was so bad that I was in the hospital for a bit over a week. I did not see my roommate, or anyone else during that time. My mom did come down, but I did not see anyone, at least not that I remember. I was sedated. Eventually, I did get back. Eventually, I did get some help. Eventually. But not until I had suffered enough for the sadistic nurse at the front. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Once my hospital stay was coming to a close, it dawned on me, oh my, I can't really move my legs. Like, I can't really, I lost a significant percentage of function in both my hips due to that. And somehow I ended up going back to school, back to my apartment after my hospitalization. This is another, negative side effect of being raised by a single parent. My mom had to go back home to go to work because the races where she work at, they don't care your little black girl is sick. They don't care. You need to come to work. And so I was alone again to recuperate. And that was by far one of the hardest time periods in my entire life, having to recuperate alone there. Well, before I could really fully start to recuperate, I just gotten home and I was still very heavily medicated and I could not do a lot of moving. I was in my bed, for some days. I was bedridden, for some days. And I remember my mom was sitting on my bed and I remember waking up at one moment and I was like, oh my gosh, my roommate's back. Like I hadn't seen her, like she came back and we had been wondering like where where she had been. No one had seen her or anything like that since the incident. And finally she pops back up, and she's got her parents in tow. And that's when I started kind of looking around and I was like, oh my gosh, y'all, her stuff was packed up. Okay. Her stuff was packed up. And I started to get this knot inside that was rising up, like almost like I needed to vomit, but it wasn't any of that. It was just a very unsettling feeling about how you knew something was about to happen. So something was about to happen. And sure enough, here she comes. And her parents, and they're standing right outside the door, a little huddle, looking in, peering in on the sick little Black girl. And I immediately just wanted, if I could have gotten out of my bed, I wanted to kiss her feet and thank her for saving my life and for getting me to where I needed to be, because I knew that I probably wasn't going to make it. I really wanted to just thank her profusely. And I know that I did. I know my mom thanked her and her parents. But y'all, the way that they looked at me, I never felt so low in my entire life. Here I was, I had nothing. I might as well have been nothing. I didn't even have the function of half my body. And they were literally looking down on me with disgust because I had traumatized their precious girl. You see, my roommate had been on a campaign. She had been on a campaign with her parents because she wanted her own apartment. And they were like, no, you need to get the experience. You need to be with your roommates. And then on top of that, her boyfriend, he went to some school that was close. So he was always in town on the weekends and stuff. And they was like, we're not about to be paying for y'all to be up in here fornicating. Heck no, you're not getting your own apartment. Oh, well, all that changed as soon as the night happened. Now, all of a sudden, let's go ahead and get our own apartment. And yeah, she'll probably be knocked up in no time. But we don't care about that. Let's just get her away from these. It was giving very much, how dare you burden her with your inward problems, with your sick problems. How dare you? It was giving very much that. And there I was, close to death and not sure if I would walk again. Some people just like hating. Some people just love to have someone to hate on. And that's really all racism is. That's really all it is, you guys. It's just pick somebody and hate on them. I remember her walking out with her last little boxes and things. Saw her a few times in passing at school, and she swiftly avoided me at every turn. Not that I was trying to say anything to her, but thank you for saving my life. Somehow I endured and I got myself back up and moving. I should have been in physical therapy, but I was not. That also fell through the cracks with my doctors. And, the doctors down there, of course, didn't care. ER is not the same as long-term care. But yeah, I was not equipped, but I did it anyway. I still graduated with honors, but I couldn't walk properly. And I still can't. Um, and so I completed my schooling. I graduated. I cried. I went home and I got in my bed and I waited. I said, you know what? That was all a bit much for me. And it's obvious that there might not really be any real place for me. So let me just lay down. Let me just lay down. I mean, depression was real. Anxiety was real. This is around the same time I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I mean, who wouldn't be? And I'm like, man, I got what? We got 2.5 more years until hubby is graduated. Oh, well, I still had to do some things. And so I did. I said, you know what? I'm going to heal. I'm going to get myself together and I'm going to go for it. And so I applied for a little job because, of course, as soon as you graduate, they start ringing your phone talking about come pay these student loans right now. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. We would love it to be where you just graduate, get a job, making the money, paying your bills, blah, blah, blah. But first of all, the loans are predatory. And then second of all, there was no way that I could be working a job, a career, making the amount of money that they wanted me to pay them every month, which was astronomical. Okay. And so that whole era shocked me and scarred me emotionally because now all of a sudden it was like I literally just graduated one day and then boom, the very next day, my phone is blowing up constantly from them folks. I don't even want to say their names. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And so that stressed me out. I had a nervous breakdown. My mom had to, help me through that best she could. And I said, well, I gotta get a job somehow. And so I applied for to be a prep cook for gosh, what's the restaurant with the crab legs? Joe's Crab Shack. I applied for them to be a prep cook. Now, my graduation meant that I was fully capable of going and applying to be on the line. A prep cook is not the same as a line cook. A prep cook, you are literally just prepping the foods, right? The ingredients for the line cooks to cook and prepare, right? And so I basically demoted myself a bit thinking, I'm not ready. I was just thinking, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go in the kitchen. I think I was just too traumatized to consider. But I did that for, a little bit. And my manager did ask me in the beginning. He's like, why are you applying for the prep cook position and not the line cook position? And I told him, I said, well, I don't think I'm ready for that. Like, my life is not, I don't think I'm, really ready for that. And so after a couple of months of him, watching me, do my job, and I was, very good at it, despite the fact that I was in pain the whole entire time. He finally came to me and said, hey, I'm about to fire you because you need to be on the line. Why are you not on the line? You need to be cooking. Get on there. You're fine. You can do it. And I said, okay. And I took that as my sign because he legit was like, you're going to have to either go on the line or I'm going to fire you because this is not for you. He cared about me for some reason. I don't know. That white man cared about me. I don't know what it was. He just was speaking. He was like, look, you need to go for your dreams and stop hiding, prepping these shrimp. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so someone close to me, someone that knew me, put in a good word for me at my dream job, which was Bonefish Grill. And I got that job before I even knew that I, was ready. The only drawback was that it was on the complete opposite side of town from where my home was. And so I was going to have to drive like a good 30 minutes there and back, more like 40. It was at that time, it was probably more like 40 minutes that I would have to drive to and from my shift, at the restaurant. And I still didn't have a car. So I was driving my mom's car to and from work in order to try to pay these dang on student loan hustlers that were literally harassing me every day. And so I got my dream job. I blew it on my first day. I took way too many vitamins on like an empty stomach, thinking they were going to give me Popeye spinach strength or some stupid stuff. I was just nervous as hell. And y'all, completely threw up in the dang on chef bathroom, which is a no, okay, because it's right off the line, okay? Like, no, you cannot be up in here. Girl, that's a violation. Get out, right? I should have been fired on my first day, but I wasn't, my then boss, he had pity on me. He was like, look, you need to get yourself together and come back, just come back tomorrow. I'm like, all right. So I came back, you guys, hit it. I rocked that job. I did such a great job. Here I am, this little skinny, black girl coming in, with her little chef coat talking about she about to be on the line. And it's a very male dominated industry. And got all these big men up in the kitchen looking like, who the new chef? Who? And they're like, I'm like, it's me. Hi, it's me. And that pushed me to show them that I had the training, I knew my stuff, and that I was not just some little girl, and I got along great with everyone. The energy was wonderful and awesome. But every time, see, Sickle Cell will let you do stuff up until you stop doing it. And then as soon as you stop doing that thing, boom, there come the pain. And so every shift, every day after my shift, I would get into the car and my body would explode into crisis pain. And I would have to drive home, white knuckling, drive home, pull into the garage, and I wouldn't be able to get out of the car and into my own room and bed by myself. My mom would have to come help me out of the car. And I would be, so it was less than a year. It was much less than a year that, my hematologist looked at me, and just was like, this is not, you're going to run your body all the way down if you keep this up. And I'm like, keep what up? Working? What am I supposed to do? Now I'm not supposed to work. Oh, no, don't be black, poor, can't work, sick. Don't be those things. Because now, now the racists, now the oppressors, now everybody looking at you like, oh my God, they won't be good little slaves. Now they want to just take care of them. Y'all, it ain't me, it's them. Okay. I did not do well at all with this time period. I felt absolutely crushed that all of my hard work since high school had gone this way. I realized I would never be the chef that I thought I could be. I would never have my own restaurant. I would probably never be Chef Ramsay. I love Chef Ramsay. I realized that there was probably a whole longer list of things that I would never do because of my sickle cell, and I was very disappointed. I was very hurt. I was very hurt, you guys. And so that's when I really just laid down. Oh, it came to my husband's graduation. At that point, I did end up getting in my first car, a big Buick LeSabre, driving around looking like somebody's grandma, but man, I love that car so much. That car was great. It had heated seats in it, okay? It had nice leg room. Y'all know how I am about the leg room, okay? And I would drive, back and forth to campus to visit my boyfriend. And certainly, the things became a bit heavy on me because that's when my hope started to diminish for my life. I couldn't see it. And so I waited. And when my husband graduated, when my husband graduated from college, after all the things that I had been through in my own college experience and all the things that he had been through in his own college experience and us combined together, his graduation was like a shouting ceremony for me. I was up far in the rafters, but I swear everyone could hear me because I was the loudest. Because I knew how many toils and snares we had made it through to complete our education. Unlike those who have everything laid out for them or have money or have the things that, the support and all of that, or just simply don't have sickle cell or simply don't have, a chronic illness that holds them back. It's like when your life is easy, then it's easy. Then it's good. Then everything is good. And that just simply wasn't my experience. It had never occurred to me up until the moment that my roommate moved out that someone would use the worst moment of my life or anyone else's life for that matter to like parlay for, something for them, a score for them. That just had never really occurred to me that was something that someone would do or think to do. But honestly, as a grown woman, child, I look, people, that is just how it is. And then to be made to suffer longer than necessary because of the color of your skin, to be subject to such sadistic behavior inside of a hospital, made it even more clear to me. And then to lose a career, a hope, a dream, to see your potential diminished. And then to be reminded of it whenever someone wants to tell the same old joke. It brought it all into perspective. Lena, your sickle cell don't matter, babe. I'm sorry. I know it affects you, but it's not going to be a factor for anyone else. It's just not. It taught me some really hard lessons about how people see me, about how they view me, about how people view themselves, about how they view the world around them. And it really did make me retreat inward. And I am an extrovert. I love, showcasing all of my emotions and feelings and gathering together with other people and all of that. But I had to really shut a lot of that down. A lot of that. A lot of it just was shut down because of, the depression and anxiety that came along with these realizations. If I, you know, had it to do all over again, you guys, I would not have traumatized that little girl like that. I wouldn't have done it. But I also still consider her a hero. I still consider her a lifesaver because she saved my life, and I'll be forever grateful for that. I'm also just very grateful for the fact that it taught me, above all else, that I can really only depend on the Lord. Because looking back, and I'm thinking, how did I get through? Right? Like, how did I get through that? Just God's grace. It was just simply God's grace. There's no other explanation. I don't know how I got to and from class. I don't know how I did anything in the amount of pain that I was in every day, having to go in and out of the walk-in freezers and coolers, having to be, standing over those, open flames, having to, carry the heaviest books imaginable, all on food, right? All on food and safety and restaurant management, because you got to have some management classes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, all of it, like just getting through, it was all a bit much, but it taught me some hard lessons that I do value very, very much. I do. I do. I appreciate you guys listening to this story. I want, for anyone who doesn't know anything about sickle cell, I want you to just go through my videos. I want you to go read on sickle cell. Just find anything you can. There is a plethora now of resources for us to learn more about sickle cell. But I also want people who are or think they might be racist to go and check that too. Okay, do some research on that too. Okay, because no one's suffering is okay. Not one human being suffering is okay. Why that needs to be said, I don't know. I don't know. But no one's feelings are placed above human suffering. And the problem with America and a lot of the world that we live in is that there are too many people that walk around feeling as if their feelings come before the next person's suffering. Well, I feel a certain way about this person being wheeled in, so I'm gonna just take my sweet time and do what I want to do because I can. That is extremely improper and evil. And if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. I am blessed now because I have not had to have either of my hips replaced. However, there are certain things that I can and cannot do or participate in. There are certain types of shoes and things I cannot wear. I certainly must still avoid stairs at all costs. I can go up and down the stairs now a bit more because I have more energy thanks to the oxybritis. So like, whereas before it was the pain and the fatigue that was like stairs, a no. But now I can go up the steps and, and not be completely out of breath and whatnot now. But my hips, are not in a position where I need to be taking the stairs. Most days it is difficult for me to lift my legs, especially my right leg. So when I'm walking, a lot of the times, like my toe will kind of drag a bit on the floor as I am, walking. And that is because the strength in my hips to be able to lift my legs is pretty much gone. I have a wonderful support system now. I think a lot better and highly of myself now because I've been able to come out of that, that empty place where there is no hope and dream. And that makes me feel like this new chapter will bring many more happier stories that I can share with you. I mean, it already has. But this one needed to be told because people need to see themselves. And also because sickle cell warriors need to know that when you're at your lowest moment and someone is treating you in a way where you really shouldn't treat anyone, especially someone who's having the worst moment of their lives, that's not on you. That's on them. That's not about you. It's about them. If anyone thinks that they can't come back from a sickle cell crisis, you can. It takes time. It takes effort. And it takes proper care and treatment. You need physical therapy after sickle cell crises. You need to take your pain medicines. You need to have your anti-inflammatories and creams like your Voltaren and things to help with the anti-inflammatories and things like that. You need that stuff, you guys. We need that. You have to take care of yourself because in your worst moment, you will have no one else to call on but Jesus Christ. That's enough sadness for today, my loves. I hope that by me sharing my vulnerability, someone else will also be able to share theirs and clean it up and heal it within their spirits and release it so that it can not hurt as bad the next time. It has to be told. But until the next happier session that we have together here on the channel, take care of yourselves, get your healing by any means necessary, and do not allow anyone to make you feel so low as if you don't matter, because it's simply not true. It's not true. Okay? It's just not true. Thank the people that help you, even when they might not want to be. Thank them anyway. Okay? I'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Please like, click, share, subscribe, do all the stuff. Love you. Bye.